our studio, the final studio of the event. Of course, it's Friday, the qualifying heats are finished, and joining me in the studio tonight, Ken Walker, the voice from the Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals. Welcome, Ken.
Thanks a lot, Jenny. Very cosy in the studio here. Glad to be invited.
Thank you. And of course, Kevin Corjuice, our special guest. Now, Kevin, your brother's driving, but it's great to have you with us. Do you remember what year you were the champion in Junior Max?
Well, I think it was back in 2007.
Yes, you're right. 2007, Elaine Raceway. And of course, first question for the night, and you got it right. You can stay with us in the studio. Okay, sometimes I'm a little bit worried about the race drivers, you know. When the numbers come up there today, flags, I'm thinking, are they looking at the number? Do they know numbers? But it's okay. We're safe with Kevin.
Kevin had a racing brain and he knows his numbers.
Yeah. Okay, so Ken, of course, we've had an exciting day, topped off by a little bit of rain this afternoon.
Well, yeah, Cristiano Magado still going through the programme unbeaten. Martin Pierce, very, very solid. Mikko Line, likewise. The guy that caught my eye is Primoz Matelic from Slovenia. I've not seen him race a lot. He hasn't won a race in the heats, but he's not been out of the top 3, 4. Really, really good effort by him. And of course, sadly, only one of the 4 girls left in, but wow, what a performance from Tiffany. But 4 times world champion, 3 on the bounce, Chris Magado. Looking strong, isn't it?
Now, funny thing is, Ken, and you may not have heard this interview, but I did speak to Primoz yesterday, and Tiff was giving him a little bit of a nudge out there in one of the heats, and he said, why is she so tough? You should tell her, just buy us a beer, you know, you don't have to do this. But what's funny is now look where they're lined up on the grid for the pre-final.
Yep, indeed.
And of course, Cristiano, once again, looking really strong, but he said he has to watch. Although,
if there's one weakness, I hesitate to say the word weakness, but he doesn't race as fast in the wet as he does in the dry. Of course, he's gotten away with all heats in the dry so far, but I still wouldn't bet against him even in the wet.
Yeah. Now, of course, Kevin, you told me you've tried the DD2. What do you think if we can get you to make a comeback next year? Would you like that?
Yes, of course. I mean, I haven't driven for a long, long time. My last race was back in 2008, so I haven't raced for 6 years now, I think. I have driven a few times back in Estonia with DD2 and maybe 3 days this year, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So maybe we can convince Kevin, because he's been in Formula cars all this time, make a comeback next year and give... No, we can't give Cristiano a run for his money. You're too young. You're only 21.
Well, he can go in the other classes.
No.
But just let's hear what Kevin's got to say.
Yes.
GT racing potentially beckoning next year.
What do you think? Next year, will we see you in GT or Formula? Any idea what you're doing?
Well, one thing is clear. I try to stay in GT cars. And I don't know which team or which car yet, but hopefully I will know in 2 weeks, I think.
Okay, so we have to wait 2 weeks to see what he's doing. But in the meantime, it's been good. Lots of Formula. Remember the last time, Ken, we were in Elaine Raceway? We were talking about Kevin because he was only at...
we mentioned you already here because not only were you world number 1, you were world number 2 on a pig of a kart and still got yourself to vice champion. So, guys, one of the best ever Rotax Junior World Champions, if not the best Rotax Junior champion.
And here's the interview. We'll listen to what Chris has got to say a little bit earlier today after the last qualifying heat, Ken. Position, Cristiano Magado for tomorrow's pre-final. Some great racing in the 3 heats, and of course you must be happy.
Yeah, it's always good to get a good position. It makes life a bit easier, but obviously it's never easy here with the level of drivers at the World Final. So no, it's going to be tough, but at least I'm in a good position on the grid, so we're looking forward to it tomorrow.
Are you enjoying the racing here in Spain?
Yeah, absolutely. The track's amazing. You know, it's really got a nice feel to it. So I'm really loving the layout, and the kart's good as well, which also helps. So just the whole combination has been very fun up to now.
You did say in an earlier interview that you have a good setup. The guys in your team have done a great job. Is it always difficult when you come to the Grand Finals and you're driving a different chassis? Because you've been now quite a few times.
Yeah, you know, the chassis changed, but normally they stay, it's the same chassis for a few years. So we got to try the Praga last year in New Orleans, which went well. So I've got a good feeling with the kart. And obviously the team is always trying to improve, and they've done a great job again this year. So yeah, like it's just very much to my liking. But you know, obviously that doesn't guarantee anything. So I just keep pushing and keep improving it, and you know, just looking forward, and just hopefully the final's going to go well. So just hoping for that.
Of course, there are some great drivers also on the grid with you, very experienced. How often do you turn around in the race? How often do you turn around and see how far they are behind?
Well, I've always been taught it's not good to look back too much, but occasionally it's good just to see if you're building a gap or not.
Yeah.
But I try not to look back too much. I think it's better to focus on going forward and concentrating on what you're doing. So.
Okay, so that's a good point for the junior drivers. And I just wondered, because you've had so much success, 3 from 3 in the qualifying heats, pole position going into the pre-final, and of course this would be title number 5 if you're able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even believe it myself. You know, just thank the boss upstairs for blessing me. You know, it's crazy. You know, to think back and how well it's gone. You know, I can just be grateful and just yeah, I don't know what to say. Just really grateful that it's going so well.
Well, it's great to have you with us as well, and we always enjoy the racing. I think there's a lot of young drivers out there saying, "I want to be like you." I don't know if anyone's ever going to top that record, but we've got some other drivers here that we'll speak to. Thank you for your time, and we wish you all the luck in the finals.
Thank you, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, there we have it. And of course, I had to ask the question, if Cristiano turns around when he's so far out in front all the time to see where they are, but he said no, of course not. But in any case, Ken, the next class we had, Rotax DD2. And who do we see at the top?
Well, I have to say, I'd got Chris Magado down as the banker to retain his title. Mm-hmm. In some ways, this is a more impressive showing by Sean Babington. Yes, he's only done what Chris Magado has done, got a clean sheet for 3 starts, 3 victories, but look at the guys behind him that he's been beating. 3 times world champion Ben Cooper, the impressive Aussie Jordan Boys, the very impressive younger, is he only about 15, Brad Liebenberg from South Africa, Kasendarua, Ed Brand, a lot of talent in there. Ferenc Kankshar coming back as if it was all just yesterday at his best. So I have said that I believe that DD2 is the most wide open, strength in depth class. I really believe that coming into this event. But hey, there's one guy who's storming away with it.
Yes, and you know, he hasn't been the luckiest at previous grand finals.
Indeed not.
Neither has Zendaruv. Ed Brand, we don't know, from the Rotax DD2 class. This is only his 2nd race.
Indeed, and has been twice on a podium at a Rotax Worlds at other classes.
And of course, the Rotax Open winner, Sean Slavin.
Well, Sean Slavin is one of those guys who I'm always willing to back as a outsider, because Sean is not consistently a winner of big titles, but you can't ever say he won't win this one, because every now and again he pulls a rabbit out of a hat and could do so here.
Yeah, I actually did see Sean this afternoon after watching the repechage in the DD2, and I asked him how he's feeling, and he said, yeah, it's raining, everything's changing. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I went, okay. Yeah. Now, of course, I did catch up with Sean Babington earlier, so here's what he had to say about being on pole position. Pole position for the pre-final tomorrow, Saturday, here at the Grand Finals in Valencia. Were you expecting to win 3 from 3 heats?
Well, not really. No, it's been really, really good so far. We knew we had some pace from the word go this week. Very fast in a few of the practice sessions, top the board in practice, which is a really good start. Had a bit of a change up with the car, the chassis, and sort of changed it to how I wanted it. Managed to top the board in practice and then have 3 good heats to win all 3. So that's been really good so far.
Yeah, and as far as the pre-final goes, is there any one in particular that you think you have to watch out for this guy, he's fast, or girl at all in the pre-final, or you think you just stick to the strategy and don't look back like Cristiano also said to us?
Yeah, keep doing what I'm doing, trying to sort of get a bit of a gap at the start, but I'm sure anyone in the top 10 has got a good chance there. Everyone's so fast, like Cristiano was saying, the level of karting at the level that we are at the moment here is just fantastic. So
it's going to be hard, but we'll keep on what we're doing and hopefully we'll come out on top.
Now, one question that I'd like to ask you. You've driven a few different brands of chassis. When you come to the grand finals event, how long does it take to adapt? And, you know, once you get comfortable, is it then something you don't think about, that you're in a different brand of chassis to what you normally drive?
It's hard to say really, because I've actually been living in Dubai for the last 2.5 months, so the level of grip out there is completely different to everywhere else. It's very slippery, so as soon as I come here, the track felt really, really grippy.
Yeah.
Obviously everyone's got new tyres and stuff, so the grip levels were really high, but the kart feels very neutral, feels very good, like it does every year, to be fair. I'm sure every chassis here feels good, but yeah, I've got used to it now, and like I said, changed a few things to how I wanted it, so it's all feeling good.
Now, of course, if we do get some rain, which has been forecast, how does this affect the setup, as far as the fact that you've not had any practice here in the rain this week? We've been lucky to have sunshine, and today not so much sunshine, but it's still dry.
Yeah, for sure, it's going to be hard, but the way you got to look at it is everyone's in the same boat. You know, everyone's starting from scratch unless they've been testing it before, which I'm sure half the people haven't. So yeah, we'll crack on if it is wet tomorrow and see what we can do, and hopefully we sort of nail the setup and things straight away in the track and put 2 and 2 together, and hopefully it should be good.
Yeah, we wish you luck. It's been great racing, so keep it up, and we'll be watching tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sean. So Sean Babington, of course, now racing for the United Arab Emirates after qualifying through the Rotax Euro Challenge, and we are looking forward to tomorrow's pre-final. Now, of course, Ken, the next class we've got up here, the Rotax Senior Max, and Bruno, we know also from previous races, was really up there at the top.
Well, he's caught me a bit on the hop, Jen, because I would have had Carlos Gil perhaps ahead of Bruno. I've seen Carlos Gil racing in, dare I say it, non-Rotax classes and going particularly well. But Bruno was a revelation. The first 2 victories were, it wasn't easy at the start, but took them fairly easily. And I just got the impression when he was beaten into 3rd place that had that been a final with everything on it, he could have perhaps dug a little bit deeper, because by then he'd got pole position for the pre-final sorted. So Bruno Bolido definitely opened my eyes. 1 or 2 of the surprises a little bit further down. I perhaps expected the South Africans, Eugene Denason and Luke Herring, to be a little bit better. Maybe the Brits, Josh White, although there's nothing unsatisfactory with 5th place. Maybe Jack Bartholomew I expected a bit higher. Good to see the United Arab Emirates going so well, although they've pinched a guy from over the border here, haven't they? Because Abdullah Al-Rawahi from Oman, yes.
But of course, they're all racing in the Emirates Rotax Max Challenge.
Yeah, that's the significance.
Interesting how close the points are.
Yeah.
So, you know, when it comes down to it, even though we've got, you know, Josh, for example, in 5th, but the points are even, and it was very, very close. But the rivalry at the top, Portugal and Spain, across the border.
Yeah, yeah.
And
England
both have now had 2 Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals, so
yes, they have.
we will see what happens. But
Zach Clement de Mello, incidentally, had 1 bad race, but like I mentioned previously about Sean Slavin, on any given day, Zach Clement de Mello can win these races. He doesn't always put it together like Kevin used to be so consistent. Zach's a bit up and down, but when it comes right, he's as good as anybody in this class. I don't say I predict him to win it, but I wouldn't dare write him off absolutely.
No, of course not. Kevin, I was wondering, are any of your old arch rivals here this week in the Senior Max class? Have you seen anybody that you recognise from when you raced Junior Max?
Well, in senior, actually, I only know Aavo Talver. I raced against him, and he's obviously Estonian, so I know Estonian people. But I have few old rivals in TT2 class, like Ed Brand, and I didn't race against Ben Cooper, but I know him from the old days. So it's good to catch up over a long time.
For sure, and they're still pushing as hard as they ever did. Do you ever think back to what if I went on to Senior Max, or if I went on to DD2, or are you glad you made the shift to Formula Car straight away, so early?
Well, actually, I'm glad I made the shift. You know, it's always good. I had some good results, and it's good to finish in a good way. But now, if I haven't raced for so long time, it kind of, I want to race now. I mean, if I will have a chance to make one race, I will do it.
Of course, I think karting is always in the blood, so once you've been there,
How many Formula One drivers, how many ex-Formula One drivers are racing karts now? Quite a lot. How many NASCAR drivers are racing karts now? Quite a lot. They can't throw it away,
No.
can they?
No, and maybe Bruno still has the future ahead of him.
Well, yeah, I think he's got every opportunity to go on to big things from here, just like Kevin has.
So we'll see what he has to say. It was quite interesting. Senior pole position tomorrow, Bruno Bolito in the Senior Max class. What a fantastic result to be starting on pole position. But we've seen you before at the front, at the grand finals. So are you feeling confident this time coming into the pre-final?
I'm always confident, but you know, grand finals, the best, the level is very, very high, and everybody expects to win. Everybody is here to win, and I really, really want it. And this year we'll try again, and I think it's possible.
Yeah. Of course, you've been quite fast, but the competition has been good. Also, you know, pole sitter Dylan LaHaye had a little bit of bad luck in the second heat, so unfortunately he's further back down the grid. But it's really close going into the pre-final, and I guess the question is, going around the first corner, is everything going to be okay, or you think you've got the pace now?
It's very difficult. In the last hit, I was overtaken, and the guy jumped with me, and I started in second. And I think if it happens to me when I start in second, it can happen when I start in first.
That's exactly right, and we've seen that the last 2 days as well.
Yeah, this track is quick and is very difficult. The two corners, the two start corners, is very difficult.
Now, of course, coming from Portugal, I guess you're used to a little bit of rain. It's forecast for tomorrow, but you don't mind if it rains for the pre-final and the final?
For me, it's the same. I think dry is it's better because the event, you know, without rain, it's better for everyone.
Yeah.
But I like rain. I like more rain.
Okay, so maybe it's going to be your track. We'll be watching, and I guess all your friends and your family will be watching as well on the internet.
Yeah.
So we wish you luck, and well done. It's been really good racing, and you've done well to be back there again at the top.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. So there we have it, and of course we're looking forward to tomorrow's pre-final. I think it's going to be a tough one in Senior Max.
Well, in Senior Max, Rokas Baciuska out there. Sorry, we're looking at the juniors,
No,
aren't we?
we're in
In
juniors.
Senior Max, sorry.
Yeah.
In Senior Max, I think that one is wide open, but for a completely different reason to why I think DD2 is. I think DD2 is wide open because there's so much strength in depth. I think that Seniors is open because there's opportunities for guys who we thought were not really potential champions to come forward if they turn it on the day. Really do. But, well, the guy you've just been talking to, Bruno Bolito, who can bet against him at the moment?
And what about in juniors, Ken?
Well,
We've got the Lithuanian champion up
was
there at the top.
Getting a little bit early, wasn't I? Pointing to Rokas Baciuska. Again, if I dare say it, been watching some karting other than Rotax classes, and Rokas Baciuska has been really good on the KF scene. Also in other, I think he did try the KZs on one occasion, but certainly in KF, and always, a little bit like Kevin, if he's not winning, he's always a front runner. Very, very consistent. Same applies to Tommy Preining. He's been trying other classes besides Rotax and been getting success. But if I might say, I'm not at all surprised to see Rokas Baciuska 1, Thomas Preining 2, Max Timmermans 3. I am surprised at Sandy Mitchell. Now, that's not to say that I've not been impressed with him when I've seen him previously, but in this class I am a little surprised that he's been as good today as he has been. David Wooder as well. I've seen more of David Wooder racing Rotax than I have of Sandy Mitchell, but most impressed with Sandy Mitchell. If I point to a disappointment, and if Kevin will forgive me, I expected a little better today from Yuri Vips. I think that if he looks at what he's done today, and yesterday and today, he might feel, you know, could have perhaps done a little better.
Yeah, what do you think, Kevin? Yuri Vips, you know him as a driver. He, as Ken said, we expected maybe he'd be a little bit closer to the top.
Well, I mean, it's only after the heats, and he's P8 now after the heats. I think everything is still wide open, and as I look at the weather forecast, it's probably going to rain tomorrow. So I think I think he still has a quite good shot.
And of course, he has lots of experience, international level, Ken. So we will see. Maybe we see Kevin on the podium with Yuri tomorrow, drinking the champagne.
Waving the Estonian flag. Kevin makes a very good point. Not only is Yuri Vips looking at the weather situation, as everybody is, that may change. But although I'm saying, and you apparently saw the same way, that's a tad disappointing. Hey, P8 going into the pre-final. If you're good enough on the day, on finals day, you can go through the field to take a victory from there. One other disappointment, Richard Verschoor of Netherlands wins the Academy Trophy, the CIK Academy Trophy. His mechanic, Mats van der Brand, who we know, now you would have known Mats van der Brand from your racing time. He's doing a great job as a mechanic for these Team Netherlands drivers. And Richard Verschoor, really, I'm a tad surprised that he's not done a little bit better. But then, as Kevin said, for Yuri Vips, P8, P10 for Richard. Why not go on from there?
I must admit, though, when I look at the lineup, Tommy Preining's a little bit older. Richard's
more experienced,
just turned 14.
a lot more experienced.
Max Timmermans also.
Yeah.
And I think, they're quite strong, but the experience, that's what I see.
It's a valid point you make, Jen.
So, an interview with Rokas now. He was a little bit nervous. I thought about Kevin, and that's why I thought maybe you should come and join us, Kevin. Listen to the interview, and maybe it takes you down memory lane a little bit.
Well, Jen, if anybody ever says, what have we given to karting, one of the things we've done is helped Kevin Cordius with his media skills, because he was a lot nervous when he started, and we've helped you on in those, I think.
Okay, so watch and we'll see what he has to say. Berkas Pachuska, all the way from Lithuania now. First Grand Finals, pole position, pre-final tomorrow. You feeling a bit nervous?
Yeah. Tomorrow will be difficult. Pre-final, finals.
Yeah. And what do you think about the racing so far? Are you surprised that you're on pole position, or did you come in here really feeling, as the Lithuanian champion, that you could be standing on the front row of the grid for the pre-final?
I come in here, win. I want to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really believe it's the dream of everybody. As Bruno said, everyone comes here believing they can win. But did you expect this, that you would be on pole position? Or did you think, I just drive and see how I go?
I think I good driver, because last year I drive Cape Junior, World Championship, European Championship.
So you have a little bit of experience. You've been racing for 4 years, but this is your first Grand Finals. What do you think about the event overall?
Yeah, first time Grand Finals, fantastic. It's very good.
Lots of drivers.
Yeah. Very fast. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
So coming into the pre-final, do you have a strategy what you're going to do after you've seen the drivers in the heats, or do you just get down low and go?
I don't have transition, but we drive. I want to win.
Yeah. Yeah, but you've done really well so far. Of course, you were on pole position in the qualifying heats as well. Are you enjoying racing here in Spain at the track? Do you like the track?
Yes, the straight is fast, very fast track. No, corner too broken.
Yeah, some of the corners.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to go around first. I think that's the problem. Now, as far as what happens from after the Grand Finals, what's your goal in motorsport? What do you want to do next year and in the future?
I don't know. I think go to Grand Final next year.
Yeah. And how old are you now?
14.
14. Okay, so next year you hope to be back at the Grand Finals once again. Yeah.
Okay.
And perhaps we'll see tomorrow what happens if it's going to rain. Are you okay if it rains?
Yeah, I like rain.
You like the rain, okay. The guys are all liking the rain, so it's no problem.
Yeah.
We wish you luck. We've really enjoyed the racing, and you've done such a good job so far for your first Grand Finals. So I'm sure all those other little juniors out there will be chasing you. And we're going to come back tomorrow, look at the racing and see if you're going to be on pole position for the final. And we look forward to the podium. Yeah. But until then, we'll just look forward to the pre-final and wish you luck.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. So there, of course, like I said, taking you down memory lane as a junior, a little bit nerve-wracking, first grand finals, but still he did really a fantastic job. So we're looking forward to tomorrow to see if he can come up with the goods or what happens. I don't know. It's never known until the last lap, is it?
Well, yeah, especially in this kind of events, you know, the situation can change really quickly. Like the weather now, I mean, I know myself that even few times I have been like 7th when there's like 2 laps to go, and in the end you can finish 1st or 2nd. So it really depends on a race. Also, sometimes you have 20 guys who are behind each other and fighting for a victory, and especially in these occasions, you know, the situation can change in a second.
That's for sure.
Can I just ask, Kevin, when you won your world title, did you get a lot of recognition in the press back home in Estonia? Is the Estonia media alive to what the Estonian drivers are doing in kart racing, particularly yourself and Kenneth Hildebrand before you?
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's still the World Championship, and there's, you know, for sure there's some people in Estonia who follow autosport in general. So, yeah, for sure. I mean, you get some recognition.
We spoke to some of the press guys yesterday, and they're really, really trying to support the teams.
Well done. Well, I know this is going to sound a little bit sycophantic, but I'm going to say, Jen, I'll look at you when I say it, not at Kevin. If he hadn't been here today, if he hadn't have come to the event, and if you'd have asked me who was the best of our World Junior Champions, I would certainly have put Kevin at the very least right up there in the top 3. And going back to one of the questions you asked him, do you think you did the right thing to move when you did? Look at what he delivered immediately. He's just gone from step up to step up to step up. And Rotax can be proud of the grounding that they gave Kevin.
Yeah,
and,
the only thing I'm disappointed about is we never saw him race Max Verstappen. And of course, Max was in Mini-Max and then went to other places. But yeah, we'll see.
But Kevin's father didn't race Formula One.
No, he was in motocross. Okay.
And Andy Preining, of course, Tommy Preining's dad, was a motorbike champion. So the 2-wheel, 4-wheel.
Yeah. We will see. And of course, Mick Doohan's son is on his way through. We'll wait and see what happens. Thanks, guys, for joining us. It's been fantastic. Back in the studio for the last time at this event. And we'll go for a quick commercial break. Then we'll come back and check out the weather. As you said, looks like rain. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. Thank you.
Well, as the day comes to a close, of course, a lot of the drivers are already packed up after not qualifying for tomorrow's pre-final. But in any case, there is still a competition going on for the Nations Cup. And this is the points scored by the highest scoring driver in each class from each country. At the moment, I've got it here. South Africa are leading the Nations Cup for the racing. So this is after the pole position, the qualifying, and for example, the qualifying heats. We've totaled all the points. Right behind them, Spain and Belgium, neck to neck, as we go into tomorrow's pre-final. So stay tuned and we will see by this time tomorrow afternoon who's on the podium for the Nations Cup. Now, of course, we've also been running the Facebook Fans Nations Cup and been asking you to vote and like the photos that we've got on Facebook. And some people have also sent us in their votes on Facebook. Now, this was really a close one right until the last moment today when we closed off the voting. Of course, we'll still have people voting, we know, tomorrow. And we can't change the real Nations Cup, which South Africa at this stage are leading. And depending on what happens in the racing, of course, this could completely change after the pre-final and the final. But in any case, we've got the votes in already for the fans competition in the Nations Cup on Facebook. And guess who's the winner? The United Arab Emirates. Of course, I think they're cheating a little bit because they've got Oman, Bahrain, and the Emirates together. So I think they've got a few people out there voting. But in any case, guys, well done. And even if we don't see you on the podium at the Nations Cup, you've at least got all the fans there watching. And I know a lot of the girls have been voting and watching and following our coverage. So it's great to have you with us. But for everyone else, the Canadians, so close, right behind them. And of course, Sweden were in third place. So well done. Thanks for voting. And of course, now, this is probably not the best thing for everybody, but for a lot of the guys who we spoke to today, as you know, they don't mind if it rains. It's just going to be a little bit cooler. And unfortunately, in the morning, a pretty good chance of rain. So it looks like it's going to be another wet day. And tomorrow, the all-important finals. But in the middle of the day, of course, we've got the driver's presentation, which will probably end up being with umbrellas. But make sure you tune in the morning, 9:30, for the beginning of our coverage. Of course, after the warm-up, we'll come in around the time of the warm-up for DD2 at 9:30 with Ken back in the commentary. And of course, then the pre-finals start 9:45 with our Micromax class, the National Micromax class, who are supporting the event. And then we'll go straight into all 4 pre-finals before we have the driver's presentation at lunchtime. So please stay watching. Send us some messages on Facebook for your fans. And then we'll see who's going to be on the podium. Of course, after lunch, we'll watch the finals. And this is going to be incredible racing. So please keep watching. And we wish everyone good luck for tomorrow. In the evening, we'll relax with the winners' party, of course, but we'll make sure we bring you all the action from the podium and the best racing we can find here in Spain tomorrow. Thanks again for joining us for this event, and we look forward to seeing you Saturday here in Valencia. Good night. Have a great night.